That's good. Good morning, Trade Pros. Welcome to our morning market update for Friday, May the 10th of 2019. Still, it's George from Trade Pro Academy. We got a great update for you today. A lot of volatility in the markets yesterday. Let's start out with a quick little fun fact. And I want to reinforce this or kind of preface this fun fact with this. The people who have the most vision, passion, and dedication towards a goal or idea are the ones that end up creating something so big that the whole world remembers. And so I always challenge traders out there not to just trade for money and to pay their bills, but to have a purpose and to have a vision, to have a goal and a mission for their life, and allow trading to be the thing that helps them provide the resources to live that purpose or mission. All right, take Ronald Wayne for example. Who knows who Ronald Wayne is? Vicky, do you know who Ronald Wayne is? He was the third co-founder of Apple, along with Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs. I guess because he wasn't a Steve, they didn't like him. In 1976, he sold 10% share of the company that he owned for $800 to Apple. Today, that would be worth $35 billion. All right, so hey man, there's Ronald Wayne's as well out there. All right, that's the morning market fun fact because I couldn't find any more relevant one for today's session. But I'll tell you this: Uber today is going IPO. It's having its initial public offering at $45 per share. That's coming out today under the symbol Uber, UBER, or Uber, if you want to give it a little more pizzazz. The valuation comes out at 82.4 billion for Uber, and they priced their IPO at the lower end of the book, trying to avoid a Lyft type situation because Lyft went as high as possible and the stock just crashed anyways, causing a lot of volatility after the open. So Uber's trying a more conservative approach to listing their IPO. They're going for an $82.4 billion valuation with a listing of $45 a share. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. It'll be trading under the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker, once again, UBER. And it's a company that's going IPO. I was talking about this with one of my friends in the hockey change room last night after a hockey game. But, in this day and age, it's kind of baffling to see companies going IPO that have never turned a dime of operating profit. And that's Uber in this situation. And it's interesting to see. Remember, IPO stands for initial public offering, and it could also stand for it's probably overpriced. And so keep an eye out for that. Typically, you'll notice the IPO come out strong in the early part of the day and then fade off into the afternoon and trade much lower over the next couple of weeks before catching some support and rebounding higher. All right. So that's the situation out of Uber. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, and that is Donald Trump and the China trade negotiations. All right. The Dow Jones yesterday fell about 100 points when Donald Trump announced he's raising tariffs on $200 billion worth of Chinese goods from 10 to 25%. All right, we were expecting to see that happen. And the fact it did happen is still kind of an escalation, all right, because trade talks broke down. These new rounds of tariffs imply that, there isn't a deal that's imminent. The meeting between Vice Premier Liu He and Trade Rep Robert Lighthizer lasted 45 minutes yesterday. They're supposed to do a dinner afterwards, and they did not, so it just went off. There's a lot here that basically boils down to this. I just do an hour and a half webinar on this one event for you to understand the whole situation, but it boils down to this. It's supposed to be a deal, there wasn't. China tried to back out of it or make significant changes. Donald Trump responded by putting tariffs on. China said, we're going to respond to these tariffs. And then Donald Trump's administration said, great, we're going to add additional tariffs on $325 billion worth of goods, which is pretty much every single dollar that China exports to the U.S. will eventually be tariffed. And China said, we'll respond to that as well. All right. And it's now escalating once again. And do you know who loses from all of that? The consumer, unfortunately. That's who's going to bear the brunt of it. Because you know what China is going to do? They're going to say, all right, 25% tariff, no problem. Our prices are going up 25%. And so, unfortunately, the people who have, the most challenges, but balancing their own budget, working through those challenges with their families, still being able to provide for them financially, working hard to make ends meet. Those are the people that are going to experience a 25% hike. You think wages are going to go up 25%? Good luck. That's not going to happen. It hasn't happened in a long time. So it's a situation that doesn't seem like it's that important, and it's huge. It's massive. It's very important. All right. these new tariffs that are coming into place, on the $300 billion goods that haven't been tariffed yet, that's going to be as soon as they're implemented, the tariffs start counting. These current rounds that went from 10 to 25%, it's on cargo that hasn't left the port yet. So if you had cargo coming out of China and it left the port and it's on its way to the United States, that's exempt from the increased tariff. All right, so it's only on new products. So over the next couple of weeks, it'll be very interesting to see how the export situation looks, what the Chinese markets are going to do. Remember, China's markets are now front row and center. Because last time we had a deterioration and a crash that was significant in the Chinese stock market, the whole world went down with it. All right, other markets across the globe were pulled lower. So China's important. So far this morning, Shanghai is up 3.1%. In Asia, Japan's up 0.3% as well. Hong Kong's up 0.8%. India's up 0.3%. And I think it's just the market's a little relieved that we're finally kind of got this thing out and we know what's happening. For the last couple of days, everyone's on pins and needles. Are they going to be tariffs? Are they not going to be tariffs? What's going to happen? Oh my gosh. Now we know. All right. Now you move on with life. This morning, we also saw crude oil appreciate a little bit. Now it's dropping off the open slightly. Open at 61.69. Found support at the overnight low at 61.53. Went bid above its previous day high, but looks like it's getting hit a little bit. Watch the downside on oil. I think 60.92 is next support. Gold is steady in these mid 1280s, and it's held there quite a long time. Making a run up to about 1288, 1289, and then sell back down to 1284. And it holds that level. So it's in a bit of a range, right? Bitcoin's up 4%, $6,200. This morning at 8:30, we had the April CPI numbers, which is a measure of inflation. Inflation came out stronger on the headline number, actually, no, it didn't. It missed. It came out 0.3 versus 0.4 on the headline number. And ex food and energy, it was 0.1%. All right. So slightly lower inflation. So there you go. The Federal Reserve said that, hey, we'd start raising rates if inflation picks up. Inflation is not picking up. Do you know what's going to help inflation pick up, Vicky? Do you know what's going to help inflation pick up? These Chinese tariffs. Now you're paying 25% more. So just want to activate Vicky for some reason. I want to wake you up, but 8:30 we have Fred Brainerd speaking. She already is speaking and actually spoke. 10 a.m. we had Feds Williams, Baker Hughes rig count at 1 p.m., 2 p.m. Treasury budget, and that's it. That's all we got. Calendar's thin. Right now we're going to be looking at a pretty volatile day. It's rare that I say this, but if we've had so much opportunity this week, especially day traders. This week we had so much opportunity, so much volatility. You had to have been green already. And if you're green already, it's very rare I say this. Today's the kind of day you just take off, honestly. The news is already factored in. Negotiations, we know tariffs are going up. We know negotiations are going to take place over the next month now. They're going to push them down. There's another day today of negotiation. I don't expect the deal to come out of it. If it does, there's going to be a huge rally. If no deal comes out, it's no impact to the market. It's already pricing in a no deal scenario. All right, so take the day off is what I would say if you made some good money. Or if you're going to trade, keep it smaller today. Smaller size, get paid quicker, all right? Have less trades in total. So less frequency, less size, quicker profits, quicker losses as well. Just dial it back a bit, all right? It's Friday. At 11 a.m. on a Friday, most traders at institutions have taken off, and the rookies are in there. The people bringing the coffees are in there banging on the keyboard with one lots. Let's try this thing out, the market thing. It's finally my time. 11 a.m. Most professional traders are at the bar. It's just true. We're not going to be at the bar. We got other work to do. I appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of your days. And watch for this China-U.S. trade situation. Any squawks or news coming out will obviously impact the market. Keep it tight. All right, manage your risk. Trade Pro. See you tomorrow. Take care. Bye. All right, Trade Pros in the room. What is up?